Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about how to multiply two-digit or larger numbers using partial products. This is also called the box method. So let's get started. So first thing we're going to ask ourselves is if we had a number, a product of two factors like 37 times 81, how could we get that? How could we find the product of that? Well, what we would do is we could use a strategy that's called the box method or partial products multiplication. It's pretty straightforward. The first step you need to do is go ahead and draw a rectangle, just like this. And what we're going to do inside of our rectangle is we're going to divide it up into 4 different groups. So watch how I divide it. I draw a line right down the middle, and then a line right down to make 2 different rows. So just like this. Now we're going to look at our first factor, which is 37. And we'll notice that in our tens places, we have 3 tens. So in other words, we have 30. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 30 or my 3 tens above this column. And this is our ones place. And you'll notice that we have 7 ones. So we're going to go ahead and put our 7 ones in that column. Okay, you'll see why we're doing this in just a sec. So basically what I've done is I've split up my factor into its tens and its ones. And I've put my tens here and I've put my ones here. We look at our second factor down here, 81. We're going to do the same thing. Here we're going to say our tens is we have 80 tens. Or sorry, we have 8 tens or 80. And our ones, we just have 1 ones. So that's what our box is going to look like. Our tens are going here. We split up our 37 into 30 and 7. We split up our 81 into 80 and 1. Okay, so now what we can do is we can just multiply. All right, so each row will be multiplied by each column. So in other words, we're going to start with our first box here, which is 80 times 30. Okay, now I'm going to use what I like to call the zero trick. So basically what I do is I look at just our digits here, which is 8 and 3. That makes multiplication a lot easier. We just look at our first 2 digits. 8 times 3 is 24. So we go ahead and write our product for our 2 digits. Now notice how we also forgot to deal with our zeros. We can go ahead and use our zero trick. We're just going to add them on at the end. Okay, so notice how I had 2 zeros that I forgot about. I just add those 2 zeros on at the end. So 80 times 30, the answer for that part is 2,400. Okay, now I'm going to go and multiply my 80 times 7. Okay, again, I'm going to use my zero strategy. I know that 8 times 7 is 56. I'll write that down in this box. We forgot about our 1 0 here, so I'm going to tack it on at the end. Notice I didn't tack another 0 on because 7 doesn't have a 0. It's only 7. So our answer, 80 times 7, 560. Let's go down to our ones. 1 times 30, we only have one of our 30s, which is 30, and 1 times 7 is 7. Okay? Our final step using this box method is that we need to take all of our products that we just found and we need to add them all together. So I like to write it over here on the side. 2,400 plus 560 plus 30 plus 7. See how I took all of my products and I grouped them all together here? We add our ones, we get 7. We add our tens, we get 9, 90. We add our hundreds, we're going to get 900. And we only have 2,000. Our answer for 37 times 81 is 2,997. Let's circle that. Okay, so that's how we use the partial products multiplication or the box method. Okay, now just one more word of advice for you this doesn't just work for 2-digit by 2-digit. It can also work for any number of digits that you have. So for example, if I had 3,413 times 82, all I would do to figure this out is I would add some extra columns. Okay, and you'll see why in just a sec. This first column, instead of being for our tens like it was before, it can now be for thousands. So here we can put 3,000. Next, we'll deal with our hundreds. 400 we'll put there. 110 and 3. Okay? And then down this way, we're just going to deal with our second factor, which is 80 and 2. And you repeat the same steps that you would that I did in my first example. Okay? So this works for any number of factors, whether you're dealing with 1,000 or hundreds or what have you. Okay?